Okay, you lovely lot, it's getting to bagging season. It's early spring. The fish are officially, like what I did there, on the feed, and it's time to start thinking about changing your elastics from last year and putting fresh elastic in. Rich has put me in the blooming coldest bit of this lake, literally 10 metres that way. Sun's out and it's like 16 degrees. I'm in the blooming shade and it's about 6. But anyway, these are the things that we do to get the cameras rolling just for you, just to make it look nice. So first things first, what you don't want to do, and what I see time and time again, folks, is taking your old elastic out of your pole. It's the worst thing you can do. Leave your old elastic in your top kit, yeah? Don't take it out. So we have got 11's Jura already in here, yeah? You can see it's already in that, but you can see it's all gone right droopy. It's starting to change colour, because I've had it in since last year, last summer pretty much. So first thing we need to do is obviously get our elastic. So 11's Jura, I'm literally just going to replace it like for like. Really, really simple. So we get that elastic out, put that down there, because we don't want any wastages whatsoever with the little babby packages. Get that, come on. Here we go. So onto the elastic first. So first thing we want to do is open that elastic up and see there's two ends. Get the two ends of the elastic. On one of the end, what I'm going to do is put the bead from the old elastic on, and then the other end, that's what I'm going to tie the old elastic to and pull the elastic through. So first things first, let us get that old elastic out. Now what I'm going to do before I do anything is just make a little loop in here, or a couple of overhand loops, and just pull them not so tight. And I'll explain why I do that, because I want to get the bead on this first. Now, it's really simple if you've got like a diamond eye threader to do this, but what I like to do, and I find it just as easy, is just to use some thick line. So I've got 0.20 line there. I'm just going to get around sort of, 14 to 16 inches. Bite that off, put the retainer back on, and then what I'm going to do is get the two ends of this line, put them together. So you can see there we've got the two ends of line. Now what I'm going to do is get my bead. Now on the bead you've got obviously your thicker end and your thin end. Make sure you put the line through the thin end. Yeah, so them two bits of line, they're going to go through that thin end, and then we're just going to pull that line through just to create a little loop of line at the bottom, like a lasso if you like. Get one of the ends of the elastic, your new elastic, put that through the loop, pull down, and then just literally just pull that elastic through. Now I'm going to make sure, because we need to use that line again in a minute. Now it is a bit windy, so I'm going to put that line there with that line on top of it, and them scissors just add a bit of weight, so that's not going anywhere, that line. So we've got our bead on the elastic. First thing I want to do is just literally just make sure that's tied on. So get a little bit more elastic through, pull that down, and I'm going to create a little loop, and I'm just going to go through once, just like you do like your standard loops for your hook lengths. You go through 2 times. I'm just going to go through once. Yeah, it doesn't take much. So pull about 1 inch, pull it, so tension it over your finger, and then under once, and then just pull down nice and tight. You don't really need to moisten it, because there's loads of lubricant in the elastic. It's fresh, brand new elastic. It's not going to damage at all. And make sure that's really, really tight. And then all we do is get the bead and then pull that up to the knot. Rich can see there. Just let me get it so you can see it, yeah? So pull that up to the knot, and you can see there, pull that elastic right the way down. And it doesn't matter how hard you pull on that, that's bottomed out, that elastic now, and it's not going through the bead. So that's why you only need 1 loop. Next thing to do, just get my scissors again, is just trim that elastic. Again, I'm going to make sure I get all these little bits, because we don't want to litter. So them 2 elastics go down there. So that's what you're left with, yeah? So beads on. So obviously that's going to stop the elastic coming through the bottom of the roller puller. Next thing we need to do is go back to our elastic that we put a little loop in. Undo the loop. This is why you don't want to make it too tight, folks. Oh, come on. There we go. So onto your old elastic. All we do here, again, same loop, just make 1 overhand loop, get your new elastic. Come on, bit fiddly, isn't it, folks? But it works so well. Put your new elastic through and then pull down nice and tight. Yeah, again, nice and tight. Because it is slip elastic, you will find it is, you know, pretty stretchy. So you need to make sure you tension it. Otherwise, that knot's going to come undone and then your new elastic's going to get lost in there. Next thing, just let go of that. And then we come right down to the end of our pole and basically just keep pulling. Yes, you can see there, I've got my connector on the end there. I'll talk you through what we're going to do with that in a bit. But just keep pulling and then eventually that elastic, there you go, yeah, it come through, it's gone over the roller puller. Keep pulling that through. Now you can see at that end, yeah, we've come down, we've already connected the puller bead so the elastic can't come through. And then you can see all the new elastic come through there. Right, so tensioning. Again, this is where I see an area where a lot of anglers get it wrong. They put miles too much tension on the elastic. You basically just want it just so the elastic's creeping back. Let me get my scissors again. Now what I'm going to do is make sure that that elastic's not going to go back anymore. So there, yeah, snip it off there. So we've got all this elastic that's not going to be wasted. I'm going to show you what to do with that. But what we need to do, I want to get the old connector off the top of this elastic. Now all I use for my connection, I use it for all my fishing, folks. You know how much I love them, are these slip Dacron connectors. I use them in small, medium and large, obviously depending on what elastic. For like 13s and less, I'll use the small ones. For anything big, I'll use a medium. Then for my thick elastics, like my 17s, 19s, I'll use the large. Completely take the Dacron out of the bead, which is like that one there. So that's the one that I had on originally. Can you get it on that, Richard? Yeah, sort of. So that's the one that I had on originally. Right, next thing we need to do, obviously, you've got a bigger hole and a smaller hole in these Dacrons. So we need to come back to our line that we've got down here. Get the two ends again. Really simple. So exactly the same process as what you've done with the bead. We get the two bits of line and then we want to go through the smaller hole, yeah? So we put them two bits of line through the smaller hole, pull that down, so you're creating that loop. You get your elastic, again, exactly the same principle, pull your elastic through, doink, like that. And again, make sure that line is fully secured. Right, so at this stage here, so you can see that, that's far too slack. So what I'll do now is just keep tensioning that Dacron just until we get it starting to really creep back into the pole. When you get that little, you get like a little dunk as it just goes back in. That is absolutely perfect, that. And that is tensioned perfect for me. Next thing I'll do is change hands, and again, I'm going to form that same loop again. So get my finger, put the elastic over, round, and then it's important that you keep you see I'm keeping my index finger and my thumb on that knot and then pull away with that. You don't want to just let go, otherwise it won't tension right, because that is the knot that you've set. And just keep pulling down on that, and it just takes one single overhand loop, and that's it. Your line of your rig goes behind that, pull it down tight, your line sits behind it, and your connector goes back over, and that is absolutely perfect every time. The only thing left to do is just to snip that. You want, I'm going to say you want sort of 8 to 10 mil of elastic, something like that. That's basically so you can get your finger and thumb on your elastic, pull down in your connector, and then obviously get your rig sorted, and you'll hear a little tiny like that if it's connected right. And that is all there is to it. Don't get rid of your old elastic. Don't need pole threaders or anything like that. Just use your old elastic to pull your new elastic through. Another quick tip, remember me saying about not wasting the elastic. What I like to do, the offcuts of elastic, so we'll get some of this new elastic in. We can use the old one actually. What I like to use this for is a hookup for me rigs. You know, it's so important, certainly with the sun starting, you won't blooming think it here, but the sun is starting to come out, so what you don't want to do is pull your hook of your rig, certainly if you're fishing shallow, all the way down to the bottom of your pole, because sun damage is the worst thing in the world for your pole elastic. So just use a little hookup. Now all I do is, again, just that same loop again, just over and there, and just make a little tiny babby hookup like that. Yeah, so we've got that, snip them off, and then that goes over the tip of your pole, and then it just folds down. Obviously, Preston Innovations do hookups. They're a lot more sort of durable, robust than them, but they'll last you a good few months, and you know, that's what the offcuts are elastic for. You can actually make bigger ones than that as well. I've got some that I've made sort of like 1 inch, and that'll store all your top kits as well, and you can even have it colour coded. But there you go, in one, from start to finish, folks. That is how you elasticate your pole with leaving the old elastic in. Simple.